Welcome to 49ers After Dark. It's really dark in the Bay Area. It's pitch black in Tampa where Jesse is. I'm Grant Cohn. That's Jessie Naylor. How you doing, Jesse?
I'm doing fantastic, Grant. How you doing, man?
I'm batting 1,000. It's just as good as you can do, which is nice.
You are batting 1,000. You whooped my butt last week in over under. I'm in a tailspin, man. I lost, and then I tied 2 weeks in a row, and then I lost again. I got to get a win here. I got to get a win.
Well, I'm in your head now.
Yeah.
You know,
rent free. Yeah, you're right about that.
Okay, let's get into the show. We know it's going to get hijacked by comments eventually, but let's do the best we can right now. Would a win over Dallas be impressive or expected?
This one's tough. The pulse of the fan base is that it's expected. And I feel like a lot of fans think that the 49ers should steamroll Dallas. And that might happen. To me, I think it's impressive because Dallas is the most complete team the 49ers have played. They are not the best team. I'm not trying to say they're better than Kansas City, but they're one of the few teams in the league that can have their starting quarterback go down and continue to win. And they proved that earlier this year, much like the 49ers were able to as well. I think a lot of people are putting a lot of stock in that Week 18 game against the Commanders. Okay, they laid an egg there. But Dallas overall can beat you multiple ways. They can pass if they need to. They can run. They play good defense. Really, we're the second best defense all year long behind San Francisco. And I still think they ended up edging out the 49ers in overall turnovers forced. So Dallas is a good team. I'm not sleeping on Dallas. I think it is an impressive win to beat Dallas.
I think it would be quite impressive considering the Niners haven't. It would be their best win of the season.
Yeah.
So if this isn't impressive, then none of their wins are impressive. That's the thing. Like beating the Chargers without Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. You know, beating the Dolphins without their two offensive tackles. This would be big. And I think we expect it because the Niners are better. But at the same time, it would be impressive. And if they do lose, it would be very bitter. But at the same time, you'd have to look at Dallas a lot differently and say that team could win it all if they beat the Niners.
I agree. They're saying turn your mic down. So I don't know. Is it actually coming through your mic or is it coming through your earpods?
Just a sec. How about now? Testing. How about now?
So loud. It's so loud.
How about now? I
think that's a lot better.
A lot better?
Yeah.
A lot better?
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Cool.
I think so.
Yeah, this is a piece of shit.
Jesse's good. Your mic's a piece of crap. You're clipping. Better, Grant. Yeah. Leave the game at like 25%. Yeah, it's good.
All right, cool.
Which is where it's at. I
sweet.
can see
All
it.
right.
It's actually in focus. I can see the game. Yeah.
Yeah. If I need to tweak it again, let me know. So, okay. Now, what the title of this show is my biggest concerns for the Niners against the Cowboys. My concept here is that Jesse's very optimistic and in life, and he thinks the Niners are going to win convincingly. I'm a worrier. I don't even root for this team, but I have concerns. I think it's the fundamental difference between Jews and Christians. I'm just going to throw that out there. I'm genetically predisposed to worry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to air out each of my Jewish neurotic worries about this matchup, and my good Christian brother Jesse will explain to me if these concerns are worthwhile or just neurosis.
Yeah, and not only that, I think I'll do my best to. Okay, they're saying it's still loud. I don't know. Hold on. Try that.
All right, I'm sitting hella far away from the microphone, and the gain is turned.
Grant just needs a new mic. I think the money from this chat in today's chat.
I'll buy it tonight. I also have to fix my subwoofer, which is very upsetting. My subwoofer not working. Times are tough for me.
Yeah, I agree. Listen, here's what I'm also going to try to do. even if I validate it as a concern, I'm going to try my best to come up with a coaching way to overcome that as well. Something the 49ers could do to potentially rectify the situation.
All right. Let's just answer these questions first, and then we'll get to my concerns. Emu, thank you very much. Glad we started off with a bang. Better have an over-under or on missed field goals. Says all Niners.
Snap. You know what? Yeah. You're right. We do. We should.
David Sir says, love this show, gents. Fatigue is Dallas' biggest weakness. Had to travel to Tennessee, DC, Tampa, and now SF. Should hit them hard and early, and they'll fold. Could be. Could absolutely be. It's a big...
Well, if I remember correctly, I agree. A little bit different scenario, but if you look at the Rams last year, they were in a similar scenario where I think they played the Monday night game and then had to come back and play on Saturday, and they ended up winning the Super Bowl. So
Huff has done well 2 weeks in a row to Rady's question. Gotten that eye discipline down. I like when Grant curses quality control. Well, you just might hear some cursing tonight. I'll give you a heads up. 2019 or this one, curious. The 2019 defense, but this offense is so much better. Dude, it's the difference between Brock and Jimmy.
You know what's crazy about that offense, though, is points scored. I think they were number 2 in the league that year. But this offense is way more explosive.
Yeah. What worries me is the first half struggles, says Caesar. Yeah, they can't do that anymore. But I feel like this team is kind of like a light switch team is kind of how I think of them. Like they turn it on when they need to. And against Seattle, like they're only going to turn it on when they get punched in the mouth and things look bad. Against Dallas, they're going to be up for this game. It's a prime time. I mean, this is a game where they all can make a statement.
Yeah, absolutely.
What happened to Chardall? I don't know. I hope he calls into the next. He's still around?
No, I'm pretty sure he's still around, yeah.
What about San Quinn and Messi McCarthy explosive mode? Dan San Quinn and Messi McCarthy explosive mode. I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah. I'm more concerned about San Quinn than Messi McCarthy. Mike Fund. I know. I swear I have it. I could do it. He already told me. I'm gonna buy that one that he has right there. I'm gonna buy that one tonight.
One, yeah.
Yeah.
The problem is he's not going to hook it up for 4 months. In fact, it won't get hooked up until I go out to a game next year and stay at his house and then do everything for him. That's the only way it's happening, just so you know.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it just to prove you wrong one day. Nope. I feel like Kramer trying to talk to. It's going to be levels. I'm going to do it, Jerry. No.
Yeah.
I could have done it. No. But the bet is that you wouldn't do it. HyperX Quadcast asked, really good mic, easy to use. Thank you. Mo says, Baldinger said Nick told him during Raiders week that he is saving his energy for the playoffs. Do you think he's going to dominate now? It's Dallas. Well, last week was a playoff game. So, I don't know. It was his worst game yet. He didn't do anything until the fumble recovery. First time Purdy's going to face real pressure from a D-line. Micah Parsons won't let him run backwards out of the pocket. Let's see how BP does. Oh, you're already anticipating some of my topics.
Okay, all right.
How will Purdy do versus the rush? We're going to talk about that. All right, here we go. My first concern in this matchup, Jesse.
Yes.
Mike Mcglinchey. Everyone wants to say Mike McGlinchey's having a great year. Not that, for sure. You know what? He's going to have to block someone this week. And I don't mean like a few weeks ago against Max Crosby where he got all this credit, but really it was like him plus a tight end and a running back, and they were rolling to the left. Like, they're not going to be able to help McGlinchey in this game. You know, they got to help on Micah Parsons, who's probably going to be on the other side. Or it's going to be Micah Parsons on McGlinchey. There's going to be a lot of times where he's one-on-one on DeMarcus Lawrence, and he's going to have to freaking block someone unless they're up big, and they can just run the ball. That's a concern for me, the Mike McGlinchey factor, right there.
Yeah, I think, you know what? I think McGlinchey will be okay because they can help McGlinchey out. Whenever you're on the edge, you can get help, whether from a tight end or a back, like you said. I do think this is a concern, but I think the concern is up the middle. I think Brendel might be the concern. Ooh. Because there was a couple times last week where Parsons actually rushed up the middle, blitzed up the middle, and he got clean through at Brady, ate up the running back, was able to get home. I think the concern is valid. I just don't know if the concern is Mike McGlinchey, only because they can't help. And I will say this, now that Debo is back in the lineup, George Kittle low-key went back to being George Kittle that he was with Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, he didn't get a lot of catches. His numbers were down. He didn't get in the end zone. It seemed like, okay, you know, he's still playing third fiddle here on the offense. So I think because of that, and knowing that they have weapons in McCaffrey and Debo, that they can use Kittle a lot to help out Mcglinchey, and I actually expect that they will do so.
Okay, they might have to. I'm not saying McGlinchey's going to fold or he's going to ruin the game for them. It's just what I'm saying is he's going to be tested in this game more than he's been tested in a while because Dallas has they can always put 4 pass rushers on the field at a time, and everyone needs to hold up one-on-one.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, he's a concern. Spencer Burford's a concern. I mean, really, one-on-one in terms of pass protection, I'm more concerned about Burford than Mcglinchey. So, I mean, the right side, they're going to get singled up. They're going to have to block people one-on-one. Can they do it? Unless, of course, the Niners get out to a big lead, Dallas can't stop the run, and they just lean on them, which could totally happen. But if that doesn't happen, if they got to come from behind, first of all, that's a first for Brock Purdy. He's never had to get out of the Niners game plan. We're like, oh shit, we're down 2 scores. We have to come back. He hasn't been in that situation, and Mike McGlinchey hasn't been in that situation in a while either.
I agree. I think like I said, I think that they have pass rushers galore. So it's not just Parsons. That's not the only player that they have. They have other guys that they can throw at you, and they move Parsons all over the field. He tries to pick out the weak link, much like Bosa does. So if they feel like it's a matchup that they can exploit, they'll definitely go after it. I do think, like I said, the interior of that line, interior right, is probably a little bit of a concern, but Mike McGlinchey himself isn't my biggest concern. I think it's more probably Brindell, to be real with you.
Okay, cool. So that's concern number 1. Concern number 2, Brock Purdy.
Okay.
And
in what sense?
I think this is his biggest test so far. I like Brock Purdy. I'm not betting against him, but there's something he likes to do. He's a little small. He's my height. He's a little small, and I think if you keep him in the pocket, he can't make all the throws, and he can't necessarily see the field as well as he can when he's outside the pocket. And I think that's why you see him bailing sometimes when he doesn't even need to, because he's deadly outside the pocket, especially rolling to his left. And he's made a lot of defensive tackles and ends look stupid trying to chase after him. I don't know if he's going to be able to do that in this game, rolling left toward Micah Parsons. You're not going to outrun Micah Parsons. You're not going to high step on Micah Parsons. And so he might be contained to the pocket in this game. And when he is, I feel like I wonder if the turnovers are going to come, because in the first half of the last game, he was making a lot of throws from the pocket, and on third down, he's throwing in-breaking routes. I don't know that he necessarily has the arm to drive those out routes that aren't wide open, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I'm a little concerned about Brock, the scrambler.
Yeah, I think there's something to this. However, I think there's so many ways that they can scheme around it, and I expect Shanahan to do so. First of all, Dallas is not great against the run game. So I think you come out early, you establish the run. Really, I could see a scenario where they start the game out and go play action 2 or 3 times in a row to get Brock Purdy in the flow, and also knowing that Dallas is going to respect the run early on in that game and try to pull some of those guys away from the line of scrimmage so that they can run effectively. I think the other thing that they can do that we don't see a lot, and it was something that I thought they would do with Trey, and they can still do the same thing with Brock, get proactive with the movement. So instead of allowing Brock to drop back and maybe try to spin out backwards and get a crazy sack, or risk getting a big time sack that could put him in a bad position, he wants to move. So do it proactively. Roll him left, roll him right, boot action a little bit, give him the opportunity to be mobile, which is where he is most comfortable, but do it knowing that the offensive line knows that it's coming. All of his blockers, his receivers know that it's coming, and he knows that it's coming. And I think that's a way that they can negate the pass rush a little bit while also doing what he does best. So those are the things that I would do to handle it. But if he has to turn into a straight drop back passer at any time, and these guys are able to pin their ears back, yes, I don't think there's a situation where he does his little spin out left and Parson whiffs on him. I don't see that happening.
I don't think he's going to be playing where he just is like toying with the defense, running running back like he did last week. I don't think he can do that against Dallas. I think he's going to have to be more careful than that. And I think not just with his running, but like I feel like he's gotten a little lucky recently with the interceptions. He's thrown some balls that could have gotten picked that weren't, and that kind of evens out. And if he throws a couple picks in this game, I think the Niners will lose. So Dan Quinn's going to try to confuse them with disguised coverages and delayed blitzes and moving Michael Parsons around. So he really needs to manage the game. Really, he doesn't necessarily need to be a playmaker. He needs to manage the game first. If he tries to make plays, he could get himself in trouble.
I agree with that. I think Seattle did a really good job with their game plan, and eventually the talent just won out. Yeah. Dallas, a little bit different scenario. If they come in with a really good game plan and maybe befuddle him early on, they have enough talent to keep up. So that definitely could be a concern. I'll say this about Brock Purdy, and people think that I'm very critical on him, but I think his biggest strength is his mentality. I don't see a scenario where he gets rattled, even if he does start out 2 of 6 with 2 picks. Like he's the type of kid that can bounce back.
I think there's a higher chance that Dak gets rattled than Brock.
Right, yeah. This is not a Jimmy Garoppolo situation where even if he starts out bad that it's going to pile on, he'll turn it around.
Okay. Concern number 3. Nick Bosa. It's the best player in the team. It's the best player in the league, best defensive player in the league, and he had just a remarkable season. The consistency, week in and week out, to be that guy making the biggest impact on the defense. The last 3 weeks, he hasn't lived up to the standard he sets as the best player in the league. Yeah. 1 sack the last 3 games. I mean, against Seattle, no sacks, no quarterback, no stats except for the fumble recovery, which was great. Yeah. I'm not saying he's playing poorly, but I'm just concerned that he's not playing his best and that something's wrong. I don't know what it is. I keep going back to the week of the Raider game. He didn't practice on Wednesday. They said he had an illness. He did not participate, came back the next day. They haven't talked about it again. But what was that? And ever since that day, I mean, he hasn't been himself. That could be part of it. The other part could be D'Amico. You're the best player in the league, and he only has 1 sack in the last 3 games. Yo, can you help him out a little bit? Like, he's getting all the chips and all the attention and stuff. Like, they talked about this last year in Tennessee when he got chipped a bunch. Like, D'Amico, there's got to be something you can do schematically to help the best player out in the league, or are you just relying on him making you look good? I think those are 2 things right there. I'm a little concerned about the Bosa factor.
Yeah, I think it's funny because I actually, for my members, I do a weekly video breakdown, and I wanted to do it on Bosa, but I didn't have the all 22 on the defensive side of the ball. Well, I did get it today, and I went back and I watched the Seattle game just to kind of see what they were doing schematically, why he was taken out of the game. Here's what I saw, Grant. When they got creative with him, which was not very often, so I watched every snap through 3 quarters before the game got crazy. When they got creative with him, they did one of 3 things. They either had him line up on the interior right over a guard.
Sure.
They did the thing where they have 3 defensive linemen to one side and 1 spread out far left on a pass rush.
Seen that a million times.
You've seen that a million times.
Not fooling anyone with that anymore.
Well, here's the thing, though. And then they do stunts. Well, when you look at everything that they did, 4 snaps is all they did creative-wise to change it up. Everything else was straight wide 9, pass rush. Wide 9, pass rush. And I'll tell you this, out of those 4 plays, 2 of them resulted in something very positive, including a Menahu strip sack.
That's what I'm saying.
And it was Bosa that actually pushed him into a Menahu. So
I feel like it's on D'Amico. I feel like it's on D'Amico, man.
Yeah, I agree.
It's on D'Amico. Like you're trying to be a head coach right now. If I were an owner, I'd be like, yo, what's up with, how come you can't get Nick Bosa some sacks all of a sudden? Right. And that's on you. Yeah. He's the best player.
Yep.
There's another thing they used to do with him that I thought was great that they haven't done in a while, where they have him standing up like a middle linebacker over the center. And that way, you don't know which side he's going to go to. He's not declaring a gap, anything. And so how do you double team him? And I know it's like he's standing up. He's not in like a 3-point stance. He's not firing off the ball. But still, like you have the whole the offense on their heels because they don't know where he's going. They've done this before. Why not do this anymore? I almost feel like D'Amico has been coasting the last few weeks because he knows the Niners are playing bad teams and he's got these interviews coming up and he's just kind of been mailing it in. And hopefully this is the week that he brings out all the creativity because it's lacking.
I agree with that. I think D'Amico's creativity is definitely lacking. And a lot of what they were doing early on in the year was showing a lot of like cover 1 or cover 3 and then rolling into cover 6. You're not seeing a lot of that, not the last few weeks, and it certainly has shown. So I agree. If there's a time to get creative again, it's this week.
Maybe, I mean, the Niners are a very arrogant team, and maybe they've earned it, but I feel like they're thinking, let's not show our good stuff until we have to. Okay, fine, you have to now.
Yeah.
You have to now. Now is the freaking time.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. So those are my concerns about the Niners. Here are my concerns about the Cowboys specifically. Dak Prescott. The Niners made him look awful last year in the playoffs. Sacked him 5 times, made him really uncomfortable. The last 4 weeks, though, and again, maybe it's because the Niners are just, so arrogant that they're like, we'll just turn it on when we get to the division round. Maybe. It's possible. Yeah. But the last 4 weeks, they've had one of the worst pass defenses in the league in every metric. I mean, the last 4 games, they've given up an average quarterback rating of 98, and they haven't faced a good quarterback. Now they're facing Dak. And the Niners' weakness as a defense is letting quarterbacks scramble. Well, Dak will do that. So I'm concerned. If you're going to let freaking Geno and Stidham scramble, what's going to happen this week with Dak?
Dak was not mobile last year. He was coming off that significant leg injury. He had some issues where he was having some muscle tightness, and he was just really unwilling to run last year.
Right.
He started out a little bit that way this year, but if you look at his last 4 games, he had a game where he rushed like 6 times, 3 times, 6 times, and then last week 7 times. He's getting more mobile. He's starting to look again like young Dak, and that makes sense. You're now 2 years plus removed from the injury. You're going to be able to get mobile. This is actually the concern that I agree 100%. I think this is a concern of mine as well. There are ways that you could nullify it, but when you do that, you're sending 5 rushers to make sure that he's not able to take off. And now all of a sudden you're making people cover for possibly extended periods of time on the back end, and you're putting your secondary in a compromised situation. So yes, this is a concern. And Dak may not be an elite mobile quarterback, but he can do some of those 3rd down and 5 backbreaker situations, pick up something with his legs. That is certainly within his bag. This is a concern for me as well.
Yeah, and I feel like with Dak, if the Niners sell out to sack him, that's how they give up the scramble lanes, when they're too aggressive trying to get sacks. I feel like with Dak, you don't necessarily have to do that. Now, they were on fire last year at this point, and they had 5 sacks week 18, 5 sacks against this guy in the divisional round, in the wild card round. I don't see them sacking Dak Prescott 5 times because they haven't had more than 3 sacks in a game since Carolina. So what they just need to do, to me, is keep him in the pocket and constrict it. Because once the bodies start getting around Dak, to me, the ghosts start coming out. The ghosts of Christmas past, he knows he got hurt. And you can feel the anxiety. Once he has to move his feet, he can't set his feet, he's got people around him, that's when the interceptions come. So as long as they're disciplined, keep him in that freaking pocket and constrict it, I think he'll freak out, and I think he'll throw the game away. Or he could.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the Niners suck at that.
They do. And actually,
they suck at that.
Bosa himself is a contributor to this. I mean, there are times where he's very Hufanga-like, where if he feels like he has a read, he goes after it strong. And sometimes that means he's leaving his side completely crashed down, and a quarterback can sneak out the backside on play action or what have you. So, yeah, discipline is going to be a huge, huge thing. The best way to rectify that, like I said, you either have to blitz somebody, send 5, or Eric Armstead.
Don't give up the B gap. Oh, yeah, that too.
But if he can get up the middle,
to
force him wide and out, then that helps out the defensive ends as well.
That's one thing that we're not talking about. Like last year at this time, Armstead was dominating.
Mm-hmm.
This year is 1 sack.
Yeah.
So if this is the week that he started
in the last game, and then it was kind of like.
Yeah. So if he wants to dominate in this game, then the Niners will win easily. But like that's kind of a difference with this team. Armstead hasn't really shown up this year. He got hurt. He's had issues. He's got hurt. But like, kind of waiting for him to start making huge impacts like he did last year because he has it in him.
He does certainly help in the run game, and those are things that aren't going to show up in stats. But as far as just being, I mean, he was obliterating offensive lines last year in the playoffs. He was like the key cog defensively.
I know.
He was the guy.
But he's not. I just don't think he's himself right now. And
I don't think he's
frankly,
100%,
since he and Kinlaw came back like about a month ago, that kind of coincides with the Niners' little defensive malaise. And I'm not saying they're not giving their all, of course not. But I feel like every single piece of the Niners' defense hasn't been as good the last month. And maybe it's because they're pacing themselves. I've never seen a team pace themselves in an actual playoff game, but it was Seattle. It was Seattle.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, next concern of mine, Tony Pollard. Now, again, they faced Tony Pollard last year. He didn't hurt him, but at the same time, he wasn't the same contributor. He wasn't the same player. He got 6 touches in that game, 4 carries, 2 catches. Now, him and CeeDee Lamb are the offense, very much. Like, those are the 2 guys that led them in yards from scrimmage, and I think that Tony Pollard he's on that contract push. He's 25. He looks really good. He's not that big, but averaging more than 5 yards a carry. He's a little bit like McCaffrey, only a little bit faster. Maybe not the receiver that McCaffrey is, but still a really good dual threat. And he's a serious part of their offense. The Niners, I feel like their defense struggles mostly when against a balanced offense. An offense that can run for something on first down and then set up play action. That's what the Raiders did. That's what the Seahawks did in the first half. That's what I think Dallas is. I think they're going to have a very balanced offense with play action, and Tony Pollard's going to make that happen. Zeke is terrible. But Pollard's good, and I'm concerned because now it's a new Pollard that they haven't faced.
I do agree with that. I think Pollard is a much different player this year than he was last year. The problem is Dallas themselves will take Pollard out of games in favor of Zeke. For what? Why is Zeke getting 10, 12 touches in a game at this stage in his career?
If Kyle were the Cowboys head coach, he'd be giving Pollard like 25 touches a game. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Zeke wouldn't touch the field. He wouldn't touch the field.
It would cut him.
Third downs, I get it. If you need somebody to pass protect for you, Zeke's your guy. But as far as just getting the ball, so Dallas themselves will remove Tony Pollard from the game plan at times. I will say this. I have a lot of confidence in the 49ers linebackers to cover Tony Pollard if they're in man situations, but the 49ers are running a lot of zone. They're not running a lot of man. And so now that puts your defense in a curious situation. And if you run guys off and Pollard leaks out of the backfield, I mean, he is a guy that can catch it and take it 50, 60 yards in an instant. That certainly is a concern.
He's the most explosive player in their offense.
Oh, 100%. The run game side of Pollard doesn't worry me as much because the 49ers defense can shut down the run. But as a receiver, he worries me a little bit.
Can it shut down the run?
I mean,
it used to.
What running back's gone over 100 yards on them this year?
Well, the Seahawks as a team went over 100 yards, and the Raiders as a team went. So 2 of the last 3 teams.
Right, but mobile quarterbacks, that's where it comes from. And that's going back to Dak where I said total concern.
That's what I'm saying. I'm concerned. Yeah. I'd like to see Armstead and Kinlaw step it up this week. Those 2, it's time. And I think they can do it. But they need to. They need to. Those guys need to have a big game. Okay, my final concern, and this is number 6. I have lots of concerns. And I'm still picking the Niners to win the game, but not until you walk me off the ledge of my 6th concern.
All right.
CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah.
I know the Niners did a great job against him last year, but again, it felt to me like the Cowboys were just overwhelmed by the Niners pass rush and couldn't do anything. I don't know that that hasn't been what's going on with the Niners this year. The Niners haven't been overwhelming teams necessarily with their pass rush, and frankly, when they go up against elite wide receivers, they've had trouble. Devontae Adams, DK Metcalf, CeeDee Lamb. He's in that category, I would think. I don't know if you agree. Is this guy going to go for 100+ 2 touchdowns? Like, what's going to happen here?
I think one thing that we talked about last week, and we saw it come out in the game plan for the 49ers, I expect this to be their game plan going forward. I expect A.J. Brown next week, if that's who they play, to get the same coverage. Charvarius Ward is going to have to follow him all around the field. The problem that I have and the concern I have, Dallas will line him up in the slot. And that's where it becomes an issue because if you are Charvarius Ward and you're moving into the slot to cover him, who's going to move to the outside? Are you putting Jimmy Ward on the outside now against Gallup?
Because Seattle didn't do that with DK.
Right. And I think that's something that Dallas does do. And I think that's something they're going to look to do a lot this week because they know that Charvarius Ward is most likely not going to follow there.
Can I say something real quick, though?
Option. Yeah.
I feel like Jimmy Ward's a lot more confident than Charvarius today. Dude, what happened to Charvarius last week was alarming to me. What the hell was that? Because here's what I saw. A dude who came in giving DK no respect. A dude who just, like, strutted into the game and got burned for that 50-yard touchdown. And then, to me, Kyle said he didn't flinch. I thought he flinched. All of a sudden, he's playing off. He's giving up a bunch of short. He's not really competing the same way he was before. He's like, I just don't want to give it the big play.
He looked very
anymore.
Sherman 2019, huh?
Yeah, like that's not you. Like, you're the guy. It's like in the dude's face. Like, come get some. Like, all of a sudden, you're not that guy anymore. Like, uh-oh.
I think a lot of that is a product of, first of all, DK is just good, but that's the third time he's seen that matchup. The first two matchups, he was held to 90 yards. At some point, DK is going to do what DK does, and that just happened to be there in that scenario. CeeDee Lamb's a whole different situation.
I mean, freaking Diamador was better than Charvarius last week. Diamador
was and
Diamador was good.
Him. He was a
shout
concern.
out Diamador.
Yeah.
You know why Diamador played well last week? Because freaking Brandon Ayuk called him out. Brandon Ayuk, remember that?
Slow. Yeah.
You're slow. You've always been slow. You're always going to be slow. He said that to him. Diamador's like, I'm literally faster than you.
It was him and Womack, right?
There are numbers. We can trace that. He was like, what are you talking about? Anyway, I guess that's what he needed.
Also, this Diamador Lenore, by the way, and I don't know if you picked up on this or heard about this, but there was a piece done on him by NBC Sports, and the comments on social media were shredding him, like, get him off the team. He's going to be the reason we lose. Ugh. He went through and liked every single one of those comments. He did.
Oh, I love Diamador Lenore. I love that guy.
He used it for fuel. Yes, he did.
I love that guy because, frankly, like, think about him. He's a fifth-round corner who's 5'10", runs a 4.45. Like, he's already at a competitive disadvantage. He's going up against Devontae Adams and the best wide receivers in the league, and he's gotten beaten at the catch point a few times, but, like, he's supposed to. He's supposed to lose. And now all of a sudden he's starting to win. It's a great story. And I'm pulling for him. And hey, be petty, Diamador. Hey, I'm sure I've said hello reckless stuff too. Pull it up. Bring the receipts out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love a guy like that. Yeah. Hell yeah. Absolutely.
He's very Jennings-like in that manner.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. So those are all my concerns. I feel much better about this game. Thank you very much.
Woosah, Grant. We're going to be fine.
All right, let's take some super chats and we'll get back to our show. Lycan says, Grant, who do you think needs to have a bigger game, CMC or Mitchell? Ooh, I feel like this is a CMC game, man. I feel like this is a game where he's going to get a ton of touches. And I don't know that anyone on Dallas can cover him as a receiver.
We just talked about concerns that we have about Dallas. Well, guess what? CMC was not on this team last year either. And that's got to be a major concern.
Yeah, if we were doing the show from the other perspective, like concerns we have about... what are you going to do about CMC, guys?
Yeah.
Sup with
Kittle
spicy...
like Kittle again. There's a lot of stuff you could say the other way.
You've never seen Brock Purdy before?
Yeah, exactly.
And, like, I feel like around the league, people are trying to, like, rationalize the Brock Purdy experience. Like, oh, you know, Shanahan setting him up. He's not that much better than Jimmy. He's not that much different than Jimmy. Yeah, fuck around to find out. Go ahead.
There's the last super chat. There's the cuss. There you go.
California Bear says, sup with spicy Shanny at the presser. Was he? He answered my question. I don't know. I've had a great relationship with Shanny. I was on his ass early in the season about Trey and all the losing, and he doesn't appreciate that, as I understand. But ever since he's won 11 games in a row, me and him have a great relationship.
Yeah,
he should win 11 games in a row more often. We would get along.
Yeah.
All Niners says, I'm not one to praise Dallas, but their DBs were locked down versus the Bucs. I don't even think the Niners are going to test him out there. I mean, they don't have a strong arm quarterback who's, gunning deep outs. Like, they're going to be going over the middle and throwing to McCaffrey and Kittle and Ayuk on the inbreakers. That's what they're going to do, I think.
And there's no reason to not do that. I mean, until somebody can stop it, they ran not the same play, but the same concept. 15 times last week, and it worked almost every time. It's run a guy off, deep over. Run a guy off, deep over. And every single time, wide open across the middle, goes Ayuk, goes Kittle, goes Debo, whoever. It didn't matter. Those guys were always open.
Right, and that was Pete Carroll, and now you're facing Dan Quinn, who, cut his teeth under Pete Carroll. So same principles apply. Jacob says, hopefully Ward eats his Wheaties this week. Yeah, it's been a Wheatie issue.
Yeah.
Ethan says, Dallas played their most physical game last week and players were getting hurt. I don't see them matching SS physicality, especially in a short week. The Niners shouldn't count on that, though. Count on the best version of Dallas. I'm tired of the Niners underestimating their opponents and then going into halftime being like, all right, guys, let's really do it now. Like, no.
Yeah.
Over under 2.5 sacks for Bosa. We're going to get to the over-under game. But under. Are you kidding?
Yeah, that's 2.5. Under. A lot, yeah.
Gregory Young, evening, gents. I'm a gent. We're gents. I love it. Can we take a moment to appreciate how Kingsbury fleeced AZ and is off to Thailand with years of guaranteed income, weakening AZ for years? Yeah, man. He was almost like a plant from the 49ers. He ruined that franchise. Why Thailand?
He's a spy.
I don't know.
I love it.
Matt, thank you. Matt again. Need to aggressively run at Parsons, bully the bully. Always a good idea. Always a good idea.
Parsons is an interesting study to me because he's the one that last year was talking about, I'm not going to be bullied and I'm the bully. Mm-hmm. And then there's video of him getting just wrecked by Debo in blocks and just getting torn up. And he tried to be tough by being dirty, and that just didn't work at all. He could have easily been kicked out of that game for a dirty play early on. He wasn't. And now he's the one doing the talking again. It's like, man, didn't you learn your lesson? Like, this was just shut up and show us how tough you are. Tough people don't talk about how tough they are. They just show it. The 49ers are keeping their mouths shut. They're focused, and they will bring bully ball at your front door. So just show that you can handle it. Let's see.
Justin says Ringer NFL show quoted Richard Sherman. Kyle knows all the rules of San Quinn's D. Pause. Every time they play, offense completely changes to break rules.
Yeah.
Richard.
He does that with everybody, though.
Yeah, but Richard, okay, so Kyle has faced Dan Quinn twice in the last 3 years. Last year, he scored 23 points. In 2019, he scored 22 and lost. So you know what, Sherm? Why don't you check that out, man? I mean, right now, I'm thinking Dan Quinn's kind of confident right now. He knows Kyle's rules. I'm just saying. Yeah. Dan Quinn's pretty damn good, and they know each other. They know each other. That's the thing.
They do. And this is, by the way, this is what makes Shanahan such a great schemer is he came from the defensive side of the ball. So he knows rules and philosophies. He knows exactly how people are going to react. And that's why you see those crazy videos where he's like going to the ref. He's like, by the way, we're going to get a pass interference here. Look out for number 15 to grab and hold George Kittle. You know what I mean? Because he knows exactly how these guys are going to react. And that is what makes him good. But there's still an execution side of things. And, Dallas is also very good. They know what they're doing.
Yeah. I don't know if Dallas can stop the run. I mean, they didn't last year. They gave up 183-something yards on the ground to the Niners, but still only gave up 23 points, and they made Jimmy Garoppolo look awful.
Yeah.
Awful. Well, but you know what? Jimmy makes himself look awful. So Keith Murphy says, good thing is Dan Quinn is doing interviews just like D'Amico. True. It's just, I don't know if he's doing 4. But that's true. It's true. It's just that he's also done this before. He's been a head coach. He's 614 Niners says, picture this. Niners win with 3 TDs for the O, 2 turnovers, 1 TD for the D. Final score 34-28. Who's MVP of the game? Man, I don't know. I don't understand your... Yeah, I don't know, man. But that's a very interesting...
Or Brock Purdy? I don't know.
Hypothetical to picture. I pictured it. I can picture it. No, it's going to be Jake Brendel.
Jake Brendel, yeah.
Antonio says Brock Purdy's going to pull off. I trust the kid. For sure is a tough matchup. Dallas better team than the last year, as well as Niners D is going to be. Game is going to be historic. I think game's going to be historic too. I think
both teams are better, and I think that's fair to say.
Matthew Sanders says Tampa put out some of the worst LB play I've seen in any playoff game ever. Let Dak and Pollard get introduced to our core. Niners LB's D-line. That's the thing. Like, no team in the league has linebackers who can cover and play the run. The Niners have 2 of them. 2 of them. That's the hardest thing to find. Because what does Kyle do every week to defenses? Put their linebackers in a bind. The linebackers can't cover, though, can they? Nope. The Niners have them, though. 2. Maybe 3.
What's crazy is 2 years ago we were saying the same thing about Tampa, and both of those guys right now are...
I don't know what's going on with those
awful.
2.
They're both awful. So
Jesse trying to call in the Volume podcast equals go.
Yeah, Voch Lombardi is a Dallas Cowboys
him.
content creator for the Volume, and he was doing call-ins, but it kept saying it was full, and he's like, I want to hear from 49er fan. I'm like, all right, let me call.
Don't.
Like, I'll talk to you. I'm not gonna try to blow up your spot, but I want to talk.
Christian Alfaro says Bosa will have 3 sacks, 1.5 over/under sacks. Trust boys, 3 sacks. That would be clutch. Niners Cade says this game narratively scares me. We beat Dallas in their house last year, and if they beat us in our house this year, it could ignite the historical rivalry. Not to mention the quarterback controversy with Purdy, Lance, Brady, Rogers. Can we stop? Ooh, Brady, Rogers. Yeah. I'm done with that. I'm cool.
Yeah, it's not going to be either of those two.
I would actually trade Trey, but I understand the idea of keeping him. The idea is you want 2 starting quarterbacks. You want 2 starters. You would have 2 because you could trade Trey and bring in a backup, but then you wouldn't have 2 starters. It's good to have 2 starters. Most teams don't. The Niners would have 2 starters for cheap because Brock probably is going to get hurt at some time, just like every freaking quarterback does, and Trey might even be better eventually. So I understand that, but boy, Trey's going to be over here posting little subliminal messages on Instagram, trying to. I don't know. Josh Wyatt says Cowboys have a punchable face. And when they get punched in the face, they tend to fold. I'm calling blowout. Niners are in different weight class.
You think this is heavyweight versus light heavyweight? What are we talking here?
I
like
man. This. Blowout, huh? Okay.
There goes Grant. Yes. The plan worked. I'm taking over the show. Gosh damn it. And I can't even see super chats. Oh, dang.
I don't know what happened. Sorry about that. My bad. Hold on.
Were you there the whole time?
No, it kicked me out. And now I can't get to some of the super chats. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
I can see them.
Damn. I can't get to anyone between Josh Wyatt and this one. Oh, no.
Hold on. Let me find
him. This is the last one I can get. You're going to have to read them out.
Okay.
Damn. StreamYard needs to get their shit together. All right.
Damn. Josh Wyatt.
So Josh Wyatt was like 620 something. And then this is 639. So we got like 15 minutes of super chats we got to go through. Damn it.
Dude. That's so far back. Oh, here it is. Cowboys have a punchable face. Okay, got it. Okay.
See, we're men of the people here. We're not going to let you waste your hard-earned money on my show.
I can't highlight it, unfortunately. But
That's fine.
So Roosterman says there's a great deal of terror Dallas should feel. I agree.
Thank you, Roosterman.
Jorge Luis Sotelo says, greetings again from the 305. Been a 49er fan since 1982.
Damn!
I'm very familiar with this rivalry. Go Niners. You know what, Jorge? I will say this. I'm very familiar with it as well. However, it's not a rivalry until you lose. And if the 49ers beat them again, we can hang on to the old school rivalry, but this current regime, not a rivalry because the 49ers will be 2-0. So
and today in the locker room, we had all the people, like all the TV people asking all the players about like, how much does this rivalry mean to you? Like, dude, this guy was born in 1998. They don't know. It hasn't been a rivalry since I was 7 years old.
Yeah. What are
we talking about? Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, what? I mean, was it fun watching Joe Montana as you grew up? Was he a guy that you paid attention to?
I'm 23 years old. I don't even see Steve Young. I don't even know what you're talking about. Okay, sorry.
The Goose says Dalton Schultz concerns me more than CeeDee and Pollard. Shut down Dak's security, and he will struggle all game. Dalton Schultz is a really good tight end. He's playing very good. And their second tight end, I forget his name, but he's actually playing pretty good.
Fortunately for the Niners, it's very tough to throw over the middle against the Niners. They play zone. You got to go through Fred Warner. Good freaking luck with that. But it's true. I mean, if they can get Dalton Schultz manned up on Hufanga, that's a good matchup for them.
Absolutely. I'm Mr. 99 says, if Brock Purdy loses, narrative changes big time. Just saying. It was all capital there, the big time.
Oh, I love all caps. It's true. And you know what's nice is the narrative changes big time every week, no matter what.
Yeah.
You know why? Because things happen. Shit happen. Shit happens. It's the shit happens principle in life, and it never fails.
Jorge Luis Sotelo is back. He says, my brother is a huge Cowboys fan. That's got to be fun. Grant, can you please say how about them Cowboys in a sarcastic tone, followed by Fernando. Wow, what is this? Hold on a second.
I have to say things for money.
Cameo? Is this cameo?
Yeah, I have to like say things for money now. Okay. Yeah. What do I have to say? What did he say? How much? Hold on. How much did he pay? How much did he pay? By the way.
Oh no! Only if the Niners win. Only if the Niners wins. He paid $5.
Okay, $5.
$5 prior
in advance.
Says, yes. So my brother is a huge Cowboys fan. Grant,
all right.
Can you please say, how about them Cowboys in a sarcastic tone, followed by a Fernando if the Niners win?
I will do that live from Levi's this Sunday if the Niners win. I will.
Niners are winning.
I agree.
Bifida. Only running back to go over 100 yards against the Niners D this season as an individual is Christian McCaffrey. And now they have him. That was a 50. That was a split 50-50 yards.
But again, it doesn't really matter if it's one running back because Dak's going to contribute. Dak could be their most dangerous runner because he's the quarterback, and the Niners aren't good at containing quarterbacks who have two legs and a face and a name
and hands and the whole thing. Legendary Answers 49er says, "Are we really scared of Dallas? No. They're clowns." I like it. Which is
they're clowns?
They're clowns.
I don't know, man. You could say Seattle's clowns, but I think the Niners should approach this with like the appropriate respect for their opponent.
I actually agree. I don't think this is going to be a blowout, but maybe.
This team has more impressive wins than the Niners. I'm not saying they're better than the Niners, but they beat the Giants twice. They beat the Giants twice. Niners haven't beat teams as good as the Giants. Although Seattle's close. But
3 of the 4 teams right now remaining are NFC East teams, and they face them
each other. Yes, they're kind of battle tested. Anyway, moving on.
Which super chat do you have, by the way?
KOSZG. Don't take forever to get. Yep. Cool. Here we go. Don't take forever to get going. Act like it's mad and put up 30 points in the first half. Kyle, do not be conservative. Yeah, like get your head out of your collective asses.
Absolutely.
They ain't ready for this PA bootleg game. They might be. I don't know, man. They got good players, good athletes on the edge. Hey, Dallas, he rolls left.
I actually don't think they are ready for that game plan. And that's what I agree. I think
when are teams going to figure out that Brock rolls left? He wants to roll left. He throws left. He wants to go to his left.
Yeah.
He's not going to his right. He wants to go left.
Right.
Yeah. Who do you think will have a bigger game against Dallas, Debo or Kittle?
Debo. Statistically, Debo, for sure.
Kittle, just to be argumentative? I don't know. D. Bright says they lose Amari. We gained CMC Purdy last year. Yes, they did lose Amari. Did they have Gallup last year in that playoff game? I don't think they did. I don't know. Long time ago.
He got hurt. He tore his ACL. Was that last year? That might have been.
He did. I got COVID in Dallas last year.
T.Y. Hilton, and Schultz wasn't
It's
Schultz.
True.
So
yeah. Plus, I had COVID when I was there. So this is a whole different. Now I don't. At least I don't think. And that's a factor in this game.
That is a fact. That is the X factor.
It is the X factor. Tommy says, I'd feel more confident on defense with DJ. That's another thing. The Niners just shut down Dallas' run game. They had DJ Jones. They don't have him anymore.
It's true.
DQ prepped for JG and Debo this year. BP, CMC, and Debo. Wow, man, that's a lot of letters. Ryan Starr, DQ, Dan Quinn,
yes.
Prepped for JG, Jimmy Garoppolo, and Debo. This year, Brock Purdy, CMC, and Debo. That's true. RS, that's TY, VM. Raul says, love your work, Grant. Love yours as well, Raul. Great job with quality control. Thank you. It's a thankless job. Can you give a shout out to my wife, Claudia? Hey, shout out to your wife, Claudia. She just started watching your show. Thank you. Hey, thanks for watching my show. That's really nice of you, Claudia.
Did I just shout it out?
Yeah, the two of you. Can you imagine Raul and Claudia in bed, holding hands, watching us?
Whoa.
That's so wholesome.
I'm not imagining any of that. No.
Yeah, holding hands, that's risque. Freddie says, Grant, going to be my first time traveling to the Bay. Know any good seafood spots? Anything by the pier? If you don't know seafood, how about a runner-up Mexican? I do know a good seafood spot. It's not necessarily by the pier. It's in North Beach. It's called Portofino. It's a little hole in the wall. It's been there for more than 100 years. It's run by a little Italian dude, and they got great food. Get Chipino, get whatever. I would recommend Portofino if you want to know. And then in terms of Mexican food, I mean, go to any taco truck in Oakland on International. You can't go wrong. Or you could go to a place called Tacos El Gordo in Hayward, which is kind of out of the way. In San Francisco, just go to the Mission, man. Just go to the Mission. You can't go wrong.
I like
Mexican. Yeah. They got good Mexican food in Tampa?
Not really. And Mexican food is my favorite.
That's my thing about leaving the West Coast is every time I leave for a weekend, I come back, I'm like, I need a burrito now.
Yeah, there was in Oregon. There was a lot of good spots.
Rooster Man with an exclamation point says, just for going back through the chats, my pick, Purdy throws 3 TDs minimum, Kittle, McCaffrey, and Ayuk. Minimum!
So
I like
then
that.
He's basically going to double Jimmy Garoppolo's output in 2 games. That's fantastic.
I can see it. Matthew Sanders says, Jesse, their second tight end actually is Whitey McWiderson. That's hilarious. Seattle blew the Giants out this year. Oh, damn.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't put a lot of thought into regular season games. We're in the postseason now.
Yeah. Cowboys also beat Cincinnati, but that was week 2. Do we have any word on their safety curse after the suspected MCL sprain? How much of an impact will this make, do you guys think?
Yeah, he's from what I understand, he's supposed to play. It doesn't seem like they're worried about him not playing. So it's probably a grade 1. I don't know how much it'll affect him, but from what I understand, he's in. So I don't know. We'll see.
San Fran fan 82 says, what if Brock hits him with the 42 fake and starts rolling right?
I like it.
What if? I love it.
What if?
No React says, last year we won with Jimmy on the road. Dak has 16 turnovers in 12 games. Bosa has never gone back-to-back games without a sack. Purdy by 30.
30 by 30.
I love that. That was great.
That's actually should be ESPN. Like if they do a 30 for 30 on Purdy, they should call it
Purdy by 30.
30 by 30. Yeah.
I like that. Is Tampa known for anything at all, Jesse?
It is. First of all, it is gorgeous here. Beaches, best beaches in America, hands down, not even close. The river walk's amazing. Weather's amazing. Tampa's fantastic. I love it here.
I heard they got good strip clubs too, but I'm not into that kind of thing because I'm married.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, he shows his ring. just
also, I can't think of a bigger waste of money than that. Like, kidding?
Yeah,
What did you get in that transaction? Nothing.
You know what my favorite thing to do is buy a really expensive steak and then just smell it.
Yeah, exactly. That's enough. That's enough. $200. Take it back. I just wanted it to be teased a little bit. Thank you so much. Yeah.
I'm a vegetarian actually. I just wanted to smell the steak. See, I'm a vegetarian. It's right here.
Yeah. My wife would be mad at me if I ate the steak, but I'm allowed to smell. I'm allowed to smell it.
Yeah, exactly.
Eddie Marco says if the Giants beat the Eagles, Niners would get home field advantage. That would be motivation. And I'd be happy because you know what? If all's the same, I don't need to go to Philly in the middle of January. You know what I'm saying? I've been to Philly. It's cold. You know, it's a long flight. Hey, come to us.
Yeah, make it easy.
I'll take that. Make it easy.
I will say this. If they end up playing the Giants, you think about the road to the Super Bowl, Seahawks, Dallas, Giants, and then if you play the Chiefs and beat them, I mean, you basically went through all of your old ghosts and wrecked them in one playoff.
JJ says, I can't think of a bigger waste of money than marriage. Hot take. Didn't see that coming.
Yeah. Says the not married guy.
Fifita says, laugh my ass off. My favorite reaction from you, Grant, about my last comment on CMC's 100 yards against the Niners D was, whoa, haha, like you were surprised. I was. I don't remember Carolina doing anything well in that game. I was very surprised that they did that. They were awful. Maybe it was just Baker. Grant, I hope you and Flave got everything straight since the imposter took cheap shots. Love the show, boys. Go Niners. Yeah, he DM'd me and said he's retiring the Flav account so he can't be imposter anymore. He's around. I don't know what his new handle is, but I think that's kind of the point.
Yeah,
he should be allowed to express himself without people, doing that. It's not fair.
Yeah, I agree.
Flave's a friend of the show. 2.0 says bigger nothing transaction, lap dance or super chat. Oh, man, I deliver way more than
I was going to say. The lap dance, what? I mean, at least you can always go back and reread your super chat on YouTube. It's there forever. Forever.
It is $5. How much is a lap dance in 2023? I don't even know.
Yeah.
How? $80? $60? Depends. I don't know. I don't know because I'm married. I wouldn't know because I'm married. Yeah. Did you know that I have a wife? I have a marriage. I'm married.
That I love a lot.
Love her.
Actually.
Shout out my wife who's watching right now.
Yeah.
Weary Nut says Cowboys don't have Devontae Adams or Pat Mahomes. Yup, but they do have the people we talked about.
Does
Better than
any team have both those players?
Better than Hawaiian beaches. He wants to know about Tampa.
Clearwater is the number one rated beach pretty much every year. So yeah, technically.
Yeah, in your face. What does Purdy winning it all do to the old adage that an elite quarterback is what is needed versus system or defense to win it all? Dude, if Purdy wins it all, it's going to change what everyone thinks they know about football. It's going to be great.
I don't think so, because this happens every so often. I mean, you've seen it happen with Foles. You've seen it happen with Dilfer. So it can happen. It's the exception, not the rule, though.
All right, we should move on to other topics.
In 10 years, we might look at it and say, hey, Purdy's a Hall of Famer, and so it really doesn't fall under that category. You never know.
Yeah, and in 10 years, we might feel like, the price of a lap dance in 2023 was a bargain. I don't know. All right, moving on.
Way better than a super chat, but great.
Yeah, I wouldn't partake. So before the season, we were talking about, like the theme of the show today was concerns. Concerns. Mm-hmm. Well, before the season, we had lots of concerns. Yeah. And I think what's interesting about the season, a lot of those concerns ended up being like huge positives, not concerns at all. So why don't we go through it? Or why don't you go through it? Because I know you have a list and I don't.
Yeah, I think, and it's not just before the season. So before the season, one of the perceived bad things that happened was actually a couple of them were certain players that we lost. I think losing DJ Jones, losing Laken Tomlinson in particular, which that's turned out really well for the 49ers. They saved a lot of money on both those players. The defense has been better than ever. Banks has been extremely good, playing at a very high level. Losing Jaquiski Tart allowed for Hufanga to come in and be an all-pro. So it worked out in their favor. Those are things that happened.
Yeah, I thought strong safety was going to be their biggest weakness. It's an all-pro spot.
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah,
it is crazy. So I think there are things that happen in life and in football as well that when they happen, you don't understand the reasoning. You can be frustrated, but there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. So before the season, those are the things that happen. Another thing that happened actually before the season was Jimmy Garoppolo staying. And remember all the conversations about, how bad this is and it's not good for Trey. And those things may have been true. But if Trey goes down week 1 and Brock Purdy has to come in immediately, I don't know.
Don't know how that goes. Yeah.
He would have stayed healthy. He would have been as effective without CMC. He would have been as ready. So everything played out really well there to where he was able to take the reins, Garoppolo, and kind of bridge that gap.
If they win the Super Bowl this year, part of the story of this season is the Jimmy Garoppolo chapter, and you got to give him credit. He did the best he could, and he kept this thing rolling. He's a key part of this story.
Yeah, absolutely. So, when you look at those things, I would say as we go throughout the season, another perceived issue that ended up being really good for the 49ers is when Mitchell went down. And yes, it sucked. And of course, we don't want anybody to lose their season the way that he did. But without him getting injured, I don't know if CMC is on this team, because the offense probably would have been a lot more explosive. And because of that, CMC ends up on this team. And look, they're undefeated with CMC. So that's another one of those things that was like, man, when it happened, completely sucked. But overall, a good result. What is $40?
That sounds like a bargain.
Yeah. Sure, your friend told you.
$40? Wow.
Holy.
Yeah. That sounds like someone that's not me. Someone who's single might feel like that's a good bargain. But I'm married. I have a wife, so I wouldn't.
Yeah, just so you know, Grant's married. He wouldn't partake.
Just to let people know, I'm actually married.
Yeah. And he loves her a lot.
To a woman.
And then I would say the last thing that really has happened most recently that ended up being a really, really good thing for the 49ers, I think there was a lot of conversation of, okay, if the 49ers can get the number 1 seed, they'll have home field advantage throughout. They'll have the bye week. Looking back on it, the way that Purdy started out that first game, he had to work through some jitters. And he did a great job working through those, but now he's in his groove. He's in his playoff groove. He knows exactly what to expect. And he was able to rectify a bad first half and turn it out into a phenomenal game. I think if they had had a bye week and he hadn't had that experience, it might have been a disaster coming off of a bye and not keeping that momentum. So I think ultimately not having the number 1 seed actually especially because nobody got injured for the 49ers, was the best thing for this team in particular.
It's quite a list. That's a good list. Yeah, I mean, I had so many concerns. I thought their offseason was terrible. But frankly, I mean, John Lynch is in the running for Executive of the Year.
Yep.
He's a very good argument for it. I thought the Brock Purdy pick was cute. I thought it's like you're literally spending a 7th-round pick on someone that you know is going to go on your practice squad. Like, come on. But it turns out that it was probably the greatest Mr. Irrelevant pick by far of all time.
Oh, it's so even, if he retires tomorrow, it's
already
way outlived what the expectations were.
So that's another one. I thought that was just so cute. I was like, okay, all right, guys, okay. So you're just getting started on your undrafted free agent class a little early, huh? Great.
Yeah, good.
Well,
good, great, yeah.
Yeah, so I was wrong about that.
You could have taken a center, you could have taken a center with that pick.
Something you need. Yeah, someone who could contribute and actually help.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
they did it.
And I think the other thing too, you talk about the offseason, and remember, all offseason that was the narrative. It's like, oh, are we going to go all in? What are we doing? Charvarius Ward.
What do you do? That's it.
Charvarius Ward ended up being phenomenal. The players that replaced the players that left were phenomenal. And oh, by the way, they did go all in. They just did it before the trade deadline. So
right, and they went seriously all in to the point where people were like, "Wow, you're pushing all those chips in." Yes.
Yeah.
Fucking right.
Yeah. By people, he means himself, actually.
Yeah. I was like, wow, you can't do that. But again, I'm Jewish. It comes with the DNA.
Right.
I'm also a little Catholic, though, just a little bit. Hey, Grant, are you married? That's the thing. It turns out that I actually have a wife. I'm married. Little known fact about me. I haven't mentioned that, but I'm taken, ladies.
He is married.
Sorry.
Yes.
I know. This faith, taken. Justin, if anything, this is Grant's OnlyFans. Ooh, absolutely. Jesse, you're involved. Jordan says the secondary still beaked me nervous. Hold on. The secondary still beaked me nervous against big body receivers. Makes me nervous against big body receivers such as Lamb and Gallup. Yeah, I don't think Gallup played last year. Gallup's decent. Amari didn't want to smoke at all against Niners.
No, no part of it.
Trey Lance is in this live. He heard the words lap down.
I tried to hold that one in.
It's funny because it's true. It's funny because it's true. Justin Lomker says Jacobs was the last good running back we faced and played very well in that game. Dallas has 2 potentially explosive running backs, but 1. I would have to say Elliott is the least explosive running back in the league.
Not at all explosive, no.
How big is the concern? What will Dallas have total rush yards on Sunday? That's a good question, man. I think we're going to do that. We're going to do that. Yeah. Who is Joe? I don't know. You tell me, Joe. Do you guys believe us Niner fans are falling for Brock's 7-game start like how we did when Jimmy came through in 2017, or do you guys believe this time it's different? Ooh, great question.
I would like to think that it's different. I also think that Brock Purdy he just has intangibles that Jimmy never had. Like, I think that much is clear. I don't know if he's the long-term answer. I'm not going to go that far and be like, yeah, they found their franchise, trade everybody else. Like, I'm not in that side of things, but I do believe in Brock Purdy. I think he's a good player. Again, I liked him back in 2020. So I believed in him then. I believe in him now. I'm just not willing to say that, yes, in 3 years, he's for sure still the answer. I don't know. I'm not going to go that far yet.
If I remember the Jimmy craze, Jim Sanity, if it was, came Jim Sanity was 5 games at the end of a season that didn't count. 5 games that didn't matter. There were no playoff games, and so also there was the one big win over Jacksonville, but there was a lot of field goals. And so it was just that they were winning all of a sudden. That's why people were excited about Jimmy. They lost a lot for two and a half years. They've been losing. All of a sudden they're winning. People didn't want to question it. With Brock, it's not just that they're winning. It's that they're putting up a ton of points and that his skill set is actually surprisingly impressive. The mobility, the different arm slots, the improv, like all of this stuff is stuff we didn't see from Jimmy. So that's why I feel like it's legit to be more excited about this one. I was never excited about Jimmy. As soon as that season was over, I was like, trade him. I wouldn't say that now about Brock.
Here's what I'll say. Well, I mean, Brock's also not up for a $40 million a year contract. I think that makes a big difference.
Big deal. Yeah.
I will say this about the Jimmy thing. First of all, Jimmy did show some athletic ability that just completely disappeared once his knee got wrecked. But what happened was 2018 starts out bad. You started to see some of the chinks in the armor. However, If you surveyed Niner fans through the NFC Championship of 2019, I would say probably 95% of them would have still believed in Jimmy a full season into his career going into the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
it
that was
wasn't
silly.
until that Super Bowl that people were like, oh, well, hold on. So my point is that players in this league, it's a year-to-year league. It really is. Players emerge, players regress. Sometimes they reemerge. But it's very possible that Brock Purdy is very good this year. He might even be very good next year. And then the year after, he falls off for whatever reason. I'm not predicting that, but that is not out of the realm of possibility. This happens all the time in the NFL. It is not a game you mess around with. You have to respect it.
Hold on. Purdy has done better than all first-round picks in 2021, says Elias. Yet he's still fighting for his job every game. They can screw up and be developing rookies. I think it's great, though, that he's fighting for his job every game. And I think that's one of the best things. And that's one of the reasons I kind of like the idea of keeping Trey. Don't give the job to Brock, ever. It's not your job. You got to fight and prove it every week. And I think that's a good thing. And it's rare that you actually see an NFL team have that situation at quarterback. What you have is a bunch of entitled rich people at quarterback. And the Niners have two young guys who are fighting their asses off for this job. I love it. I think that's great.
I agree with that. They're definitely going to get calls about Trey Lance this offseason, though. That's definitely going to happen.
Yeah, and if the price is right, then you might want to think about it if you really like Brock. Otherwise, if you like the situation, if you like the idea of Brock looking over his shoulder and not being too comfortable, or having a second option if Brock gets hurt or turns out to be Cinderella and just turns into a pumpkin, good. You got that too.
If they put out to the league that they're going to do a competition, not only are they going to get calls on Trey, but they're going to get calls on Brock as well. They're probably going to turn down every single call on both of them. But if they say, hey, this is a competition, they'll get calls on both.
Raymond Martinez Jr. says, what up, fellas? Some fans are way too overconfident and are underestimating Dallas.
Did you know Grant's married?
Right here. You know?
Yeah.
The 49ers will not underestimate any team after that Raider game. This game comes down to who takes care of the ball. They literally underestimated Seattle last week. But I don't think that, to your point, Raymond, they're not going to do it again. They're not going to underestimate Dallas. This is a huge game. They won't.
They also, there's a lot of crap talk that's gone back and forth. And actually, Ayuk started it after the Miami game when he was on with Hushmanzada. And I forget what the old Cowboys DB is that he does the show with. But they asked him about the Cowboys, and he started laughing. He's like, we know what they're about. So let's see.
Psycho Uncensored says, my friend says here in El Paso, tickets VIP lap dances are $20. I wouldn't know I'm married. $20?
I wouldn't know I'm married.
That just doesn't even seem right. Like, that's too much work for $20.
Yeah.
Was that 30 seconds? 15?
Yeah.
$20?
It's an intro to a song.
Damn, man. That's not a lot you can get for $20 these days. Justin says, estimated 10K dancers traveling here for Super Bowl and Phoenix Open same weekend. Hotels crazy book. Grant, you can crash on the couch. Jesse Recliner. Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
I don't know.
I'm looking forward to the. I don't know. Well, he says that. I guess he lives there. The first
part has to do with the second part because
I'm married. Did you know that? People don't know, but I'm actually taken.
Yeah.
Alien says, based on what we know today, what round draft would Purdy be drafted in? Yeah, like if you traded him tomorrow, what would you get in return? I think you get first.
Second.
One of the two.
And by the way, I thought he was a third round. I had him graded as a third round quarterback. So it's right. I mean, if he was a third round quarterback, it would still be amazing. He would be outplaying that as well, but it wouldn't look as crazy as the last pick in the draft.
Sean H., thank you. Javier, Grant, who's broadcasting this game? Troy and Joe, they suck. And what legends do you think will be at this game from both teams? Oh, I guarantee Jerry Rice will be there. He's always there. I don't know.
Always.
I don't know who's broadcasting the game. He said they suck.
Have you ever seen the meme of Jay-Z next to Troy Aikman?
No.
And Troy Aikman's a white Jay-Z. You can't unsee it. Once you see the picture side by side, you're like, oh my gosh. He is a white Jay-Z. This is hilarious.
That's hella funny. Grant, what percentage you give Niners to win?
80. I'll go 80.
60.
60? God, you are pessimistic. You're just a hater. A married hater.
60%? How dare you? It's not enough of a percentage. Steve M says BCB is what Jimmy Garoppolo should have looked like all this time. I don't believe this offense has been unlocked yet. I'm sorry, but at no point in Jimmy's life did he ever have quick feet like Brock. What Brock does with his feet is crazy. I didn't know he could do that. He's so damn quick. Crazy quick.
Here's the thing, and I think both things can be true. Certainly, this offense with these weapons and Shanahan calling plays can elevate any quarterback and make them better than what.
Who's half decent? Who's half decent?
However, Purdy elevates the offense in a way that Jimmy never could. So
Thank you.
I don't know
Both
if
are
he's
happening.
fully unlocked all the potential, but he certainly has opened a lot more doors than Jimmy ever did.
Thank you. And maybe Trey could unlock even more down the line. Elias says Purdy has done better than all. Do we get this one? Yeah, we got that one.
Yeah.
Champagne says, Grant, do you feel like Mac Jones would have done the same thing if the Niners got him? Does Mac Jones have the same skill set as Brock Purdy? Great question. No. I don't think so. Again, what Brock Purdy is so surprising to me is the mobility. Mac isn't an athlete. Like, Purdy's a freaking athlete. He's an athlete. I love this about him. And Mac's not. They talked about him. He was a tennis player. Yeah, fuck out of here. So Chris Sims said today, let me just clarify. Mac Jones is better than Brock. No, he freaking isn't.
No, he's not.
And it's not just physical, too. It's like the mind, there's something wrong with Mac. He's had all these plays on the field where, I don't know, man. I don't like that dude. We need to at least 5 regularly. Need to hit Dak. We need to at least 5 regularly. I don't know.
Oh, send 5? Maybe because we're
send
talking
5. Send 5. Yeah. Send 5. Lycan says a fine example would be Cap in 2012, 2013. He was elite. After that, he fell off. Did.
Yeah, different circumstance. But yeah, I mean, it happens all the time, though. It happens
it's true.
All the time.
He went from being elite to not being elite. It's true. Could happen to, all of a sudden, Purdy next year could throw 40 interceptions. We don't know. We'll see. I don't think he will, though. Dustin Gale says, was having a bad day, but this show helped me chill out and turn a corner. Thanks, guys. I'm sorry you had a bad day, but it's over.
Yeah. It is.
We have each other.
Hey, so in at least in this example, 2.0, for Dustin, the super chat, way more worth it than a lap dance. Just in a thought.
Does Brock seem like he'll ever be arrogant? I don't know, man.
I think he's super grounded, and that's just. I think that's who he is as a person, and he's very. I don't know.
Let's see what happens.
Grounded in his faith, and I think that's a big deal. You can find a lot of interviews online with him talking about his faith. I think that's a big deal for him.
Fair enough. All I'm going to say is, Joe Montana was like this, according to my dad early on. 3rd round pick, aw shucks, G. Williker kind of guy. And then he became Joe Montana, Big J, Big M, Super Bowl champion, millionaire, and it changes. So I'm not saying Brock will change, but he's got a lot of temptation coming his way in the future if this all works out. Sure. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
For sure. I mean, I'm not going to say he's going to want his money if it comes to that point. Let's be clear about that. He's not going to be like, oh, shucks, just pay me a couple $1 million. I'm good. No, that's not the way.
Also, when you're on your first contract, especially you're making whatever, $900K, a lot of it is not an act, but I'm marketing myself. I'm the greatest teammate. I'm the most coachable player. I'm everything you want. And then you get $50 million a year, and it's I'm whoever the hell I want to be sometimes. So I don't know. Brock is 23. He's not even, his frontal cortex hasn't even fully developed yet. We don't know who he's going to be.
Yeah.
Fast Freddy says, since Trey's dead cap would be $10 million next year, what would be a decent enough compensation to make it a valid trade if the trigger was pulled? You trade him for a starter at another position if you want to start another position. So high two and a comp.
I mean, I think realistically, if they were to trade, that's what they would get is probably a 2nd round pick for him. And to me, that's not worth it.
Everything's half off at the strip club, says Clayton. Which strip club are you talking about? That sounds like a strip club I don't want to go to. Fernando. I don't know. That sounds like Tuesday afternoon at the strip club. You ever go to Bourbon Street in New Orleans?
I have never been there, no.
So the French Quarter's tight, but Bourbon Street's kind of seedy, and they have these gentlemen's clubs, and there's always a dude out front being like, "Hey man, you want to come in?"
No,
not because you asked me to.
Yeah.
oh, he's driving a hard bargain over here. Like, no, no. And like, so yeah.
Good,
No. Yeah, actually, I'm extremely horny. Thank you so much. It just turns out that I'm really horny, and I was hoping you. Thank you. Why don't more people? Like, no, I'm good.
I was thoughts on you to ask.
Yeah, like, ugh. Thoughts on Dallas media wanting CMC being injured? What? Huh? Who said that?
I haven't heard any of that.
I didn't hear that.
Horrible.
Yeah, I didn't hear that. Alien says, do you think there will be a Purdy effect on this year's draft? Absolutely. All of a sudden, quarterbacks with experience are going to be valued. Oh my God, you played a lot? That's a good thing.
League, yeah.
But Purdy's thing is he has the combination of playing a lot, being young, and being surprisingly athletic. Find that. Dude turned, he was a 4-year starter who entered the draft at 22. Not a lot of guys like that. Freaking, not a lot.
Yeah. It's a very different situation. Most of these guys redshirt, and it's I don't know. The Purdy situation, you're not going to get this lucky again for a long, long time.
I do think though teams are going to start looking at experience as an asset, whereas in the past they would have been like, "Why'd you stay in school? We want a guy with more upside." Like you're really going to develop that upside. You sure? Are you sure? I know the Bills did with Josh Allen, but are you going to do it with this? Like Will Levis, okay, he's the next Josh Allen. He's 24 years old. You sure?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know about that, and maybe he will, but I just wouldn't take the risk. I'm Mr. 99 says this game will be lost if Purdy tries to play hero ball. I'm calling it now. I don't get why BP is touted so good when wide receivers are open by 5 yards or more. You also said that the Packers were going to make the playoffs and beat the Niners. So he's even more neurotic than me.
And you remembered him. That's crazy.
I do. Why don't they get rid of Trey and keep Jimmy LOL? Ooh.
No, why?
Because they're smart.
No.
Because they're not crazy. Who is the emotional core of the team? Is it a vet?
Emotional core, probably Fred Warner,
Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah, Ayuk's guy. He's got to be driving that bargain.
Those two, man. Those guys are intense. Mm-hmm. Those two. The reason we have the number 1 D is because Purdy ran the scout team all year. Yeah, man. Yeah, he's a two-way player. Yeah. Just wondering, are you married by any chance? That's the thing. It turns out that I got married a few years ago. We live together. I have a companion. A significant other.
It's good to hear, man.
We share our lives together. Who has more pressures, Niners or Cowboys?
More pressure. Oh,
probably because the Niners, really because they should be like winning and playing, all that stuff. Niners rule says, "Can I get a lap dance?" Oh, for $50? Yes.
Yes. But not from either of us.
No, I'm not going to get up and start twerking on this film. Not going to happen. No. But I owe you one.
Yeah, I'll tell you where you can get one, allegedly.
Yeah, go to Tampa. Ooh, that was funny. Justin says Jessie News said dancers scooping up tons of rooms for Super Bowl weekend. If people believe, reserve them rooms now. Damn! Well, maybe we can...
This, by the way, this is like not a new thing. This happens everywhere. Every Super Bowl they do this.
I'm low-key nervous about Schultz, says Abu Marco 23. We have been good against the tight end position all year, but had some bad outings, Darren Waller and Kelsey. Fair.
Those are just elite players, and that's what
Schultz
happens.
is pretty good, though, and he's going to Dak likes him, so that's a good call. Hafunga, don't jump the short route and give up the long play to him.
No.
If the Niners win the Super Bowl, I'll marry my girlfriend. Just marry her.
Yeah, if you love her.
Marry her.
Because if you're not ready to marry her and you do it because of the Super Bowl, it's just not that. I wouldn't. No, because in 2 years you won't be able to be like Grant, be like, you know, I'm married. Be like, do you know?
Yeah, no. No, you got to take the leap of faith in life. Here's the thing. Maybe if you pop the question tomorrow, that means the Niners will win the Super. You got to take a leap of faith.
Yeah.
God does not reward people who are waiting to see. It doesn't. I learned that as someone who's a Jewish agnostic. Trey Niner says, stop with the Trey trade talk. We have a good situation with both Trey and Brock. No one needs to be traded for at least a few years from now. Patience. Right. Actually, I think the end deadline for trading Trey, if they wanted to, would be right before that 5th-year option came up. You could trade him like February 2024. If you feel like Brock's the guy, you'd be like, okay, we'll trade him somewhere else, and you can decide if you want to give him the 5th-year option. I don't know what you get from at that point, but that would be the very, very deadline of getting something back.
Well, I'll say this. If they trade him, I mean, another team is reaping the benefits of the 49ers developing him on their dime, on their time.
Oh, yeah.
And allowing him to come into his own. So
one team that you think might be interested in trading for Trey Lance this offseason, give me a name. Who's going to call? I got a name.
Carolina Panthers.
I like it. What about Miami? Ooh. Let me listen to you. Let me say it to you. Okay. Ooh. So Tua's their guy, right? But Tua gets hurt a lot. They have to have another guy. And yeah, they'd have to give up something for Trey, but they already got a lot for Trey. They could call it a net win. They already got 3 first-round picks and be like, all right, we'll give you back a 2 for Trey.
Yeah. Jeez, that would be
Miami.
That would be wild.
McDaniel might love him. McDaniel might hate him, but McDaniel might love him.
Imagine. Let's just go down this path for just a second. So they trade a second-round pick for him. Trey comes over there.
Kills it.
Phenomenal.
Great. Phenomenal.
You got
twice
and 2 first-round picks for Trey Lance. What the hell?
You got fleeced twice. You got fleeced twice by the same team on the same player. I know.
No, that's a double whammy. They cannot trade him to Miami.
I probably shouldn't have put this one up. Dude says BCB deserves the nickname. Trust me, I'm an expert in this field. It's Kinlaw. What's up, Javon? How you doing? Brandon says, don't you think Purdy deserves more than $900K a year if he wins a Super Bowl? He can't even afford an apartment in San Fran. He has roommates. It's true. It seems like this is wrong. There should be like, you shouldn't, I don't know, man. There should be rules against this. It's too much of a bargain at this point.
You have to play 3 years. That's the other part about being drafted. You have to play 3 years before you can even renegotiate a contract in the NFL. So,
hey Grant, how you like Lenore on Gallup? I like Lenore. I feel like he's improving. Mm-hmm. I'm a little more concerned about Charvarius Ward. Where's his head at? Where is his head at?
Yeah.
New mic fund. Thank you, Andrew Johnston. I appreciate you. Man, there's so many of these. All Niners says the highlight of my Monday is going to be Stephen A. Smith when we whoop on the Cowboys. Oh, because he likes when they get whooped on. Tweeted you recording of pundits asking for CMC injury. All right, I will check it out. That seems very strange. Wish Florida had mountains or even hills so flat.
No, we do. We have Splash Mountain and Space Mountain.
If the Niners win the Super Bowl, do players stay together or do they chase money? Some will chase money. Some will stay together.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of them are already in contract, so you've got that core there.
Edson Dart says 24 lap dance in South Dakota, but the B team. So, hey man, you got to give the B team some credit. A lot of times those people from the practice squad get called up and have a great career. Well, I'm saying
30 of the strip clubs. I don't.
Oh wow. Okay, let's play the over/under game. It's time.
All right,
we made him wait an hour and 20.
Yeah, we definitely did.
Hold on. Let me reiterate. Brock Purdy will get endorsements if he makes a Super Bowl. He should get endorsements anyway.
That's true.
Okay, let's go.
All right, over under offense. Brock Purdy 240.5 passing yards. Over or under?
Can we just mention that I kicked your ass last week?
Yeah, you beat the piss out of me, Grant. Yes, you can.
Thanks. Because I didn't have a lot of victories this year. Okay. I'm gonna go over.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna go over. Because I want to win again this week. I'm gonna be smart. Over. I'm just looking at I'm buying time and then I'm looking at the chat and I'm letting them pick. Over.
That's smart. I like that. You're letting everybody else.
It's like Price is Right. What do you guys think? Yeah. Okay, over. Yeah, all right.
Maybe that's the problem is I don't look at the chat. This is weird, man. Gosh, he's been cheating the whole time. Okay.
I have been.
240.5. Gosh. I'm going to go under. I think this is a game where they run the ball a ton.
Okay. 1-0. Let's go.
Yeah, 1-0 Jesse. 1-0 you guys. All right, over under 135.5 rushing yards for this offense.
Over.
Come on, you knew I was.
I'm here to win. I'm here to win.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Dude, Dallas's defense has their hands full on a short week on the road.
They do.
This Niners offense scores 33 points in their sleep. You got your hands full, baby.
They do. They definitely do. Okay.
They definitely do.
Over under 1.5 sacks allowed for the 49ers. Offense. Do they get sacked 1.5 times? Over. You think?
I could see 2 sacks. I could definitely see 2 sacks. You put it at a very low number.
I'm gonna go under. 1 sack. Get sacked 1 time. Maybe
Niner for life agrees with you.
Under.
The car guys also agrees with you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, over or under 7.5 touches for Deebo Samuel this week.
7.5. It was 7 last week, wasn't it?
I think it was 8, if I remember correctly.
I'm going to say over. I'm going to say over to every question today. Over. Okay. And I'll give my reason after you give your answer.
That's the rules. I agree. Deebo's going to have to be a huge part of this offense. If I would have set the over-under at 2.5 for Kittle, I might have taken the under on that as well.
Don't you feel like the game plan is going to be heavy on quick passes and yak?
Yes, absolutely. And that's why I think they're only going to get sacked one time.
So I don't know about Ayuk in this game. You know what I'm saying? That might depend more on Brock Purdy extending plays. I don't know.
That's true. Okay. Over or under 0.5 turnovers for this offense. They have, not a lot of turnovers from this offense at all in recent weeks.
0.5?
0.5.
I think they're due. So I'm going to say over because I've said over to every question so far.
And that's the rule.
That's the rule.
The over game.
Yeah, it works.
I'm going to go over as well, but I don't feel good about it.
Me neither. I feel dirty.
All right, let's go to the defensive side.
I kind of feel like how I might feel if I just bought a $20 lap dance, but I wouldn't because I'm married.
You're married, so no, that's not
$20 lap dance though in South Dakota. Ooh, I don't know about that one.
Yeah,
but I don't know from personal experience because I'm married. So if you're there, God love you.
Not going to happen. Exactly.
Right.
A lot of people were asking in the chat, what should we set the over under for Bosa? This number has stayed true since midseason on, and it has killed us every single time one of us has lost on this.
Under
2.5 sacks.
Under for Bosa? Oh, for the okay.
Yeah. Not Bosa.
That's an interesting one because their number that they hit is 3 when they're on.
Yeah.
I feel like they get them 3 times. Over.
It's the over game for you. It's the over game.
Hell yeah. Over. 3. They got 3 in them.
I'm going to go under.
Oh, they're going to lose then. Then you're picking to lose. No, you're picking the Niners to lose. No. Wow. Wow.
It's about pressures.
Okay.
Okay, 2 sacks. All right. Over under 235.5 passing yards given up. Over. Because over everything.
235 passing yards?
235.5.
I could say over. I should say over. I'm going to say over. Over.
Of course you're going to say over. Why wouldn't you say over? I mean,
over. I already told you what I'm doing today.
Yeah.
What I do is you ask the question, and I wrinkle my eyebrows, and I think about it, and I say over. That's what happened.
There's a couple in here that or at least one that I don't think you're going to be able to really go over on. But okay, over or under. I'm going to go over as well. By the way, over under 85.5 rushing yards against.
Over.
Of course, yeah.
Over. Yeah. Over.
I agree because I think Dak can pick up 20. Okay.
Yeah.
This is the one where I don't think you're going to be able to go.
I don't think this is going to be a low-scoring game. I don't see this. I know both teams have good defenses statistically. Sure. I don't know about this. I think both teams are going to score.
That's fair. That's totally fair. Okay. Over or under 1.5 forced turnovers by this defense. Go over, I dare you.
You're good. You're good. Under. I know they've been doing it consistently, but I feel like they haven't really faced a good quarterback in a minute. And I know Dak is a turnover machine. I know he's a turnover machine. Under. Under.
See, this is why I hate going second because I'm making excuses now for why I'm losing. I hate going second because I feel like I have to pick a difference just so that we're different sometimes, even though I agree. I'm
in his head, guys. I'm in his head. It took all season, but I did it. Yes.
I'm basically Dallas's kicker. I've missed 4 extra points. I had gimmies to beat you, and now I've missed 4 extra points.
Man, this feels great.
I think I can get my groove back.
No.
I'm gonna go under. I'm gonna go under as well. I have to. I'm trying to win here. I'm gonna go under as well. Okay.
All right.
Over or under 1.5 touchdowns against this defense.
Over. 1.5. 1.5. Over. No, over. I can see 2. This defense ain't been great recently. Fred, Jimmy, Dre, calling you out. Nicholas. From now on, until he has a sack, he's going to game without. His name is Nicholas. From now on, Nicholas. I'm not calling you Nick. Your name is Nicholas from now on. Nicholas. And James Ward, not Mooney, Travarius, Andre Greenlaw. No nicknames.
None.
No more nicknames.
I got it.
Federico. That's his real name. You didn't know that.
I didn't know.
Federico.
I'm going to go over as well, but I got a bonus one that I didn't send you. But the chat threw it out, and this is fantastic. Over or under 0.5 missed extra points for Dallas's kicker?
Over.
You think he's missing one?
How can, unless he doesn't
extra
play.
Point, not a field goal. Extra point.
No. He's going to miss one.
I'm going to go
He's
under.
going to miss one. Oh.
I'm going to go under.
That is so optimistic of you. I love you. That guy's
He'll miss the field goal,
in a bad spot.
He's not going to miss extra points this week.
He's going to miss a field goal too.
He's definitely missing a field goal. That's for sure going to happen. That's the over-under. All right, we got a difference at the very end. I like that.
Well, that was a fun game. Let's go back and answer the rest of the super chats and go home. Ariel says, I watched a video yesterday with this guy who watched every game on Purdy live in college. He said how he made a lot of mistakes in college and that Purdy will be coming real soon. What do you guys think?
This was my conversation over on my channel, a lot about Brock Purdy and what I saw from Brock. Brock, and he's done a better job so far. So I don't know what to attribute that to, but Brock Purdy, much like Jimmy Garoppolo, has those what the F moments. Fortunately for him, any what the F moment he's had has resulted in not having a turnover. So I could see it happening. I think that he's done a good job of playing within his means, and hopefully we don't see it happen, but he's a bit of a gunslinger. He's a bit of a gunslinger.
Well, I think he addressed this. I asked him after the game, was it last week or whatever? Mm-hmm. Like, do you ever feel like the NFL game is easier than the college game? And he said, in a sense, because the team is so good, I don't have to do that much. But in college, he felt like he had to do a lot for the team to win sometimes. And so maybe he was doing too much, playing hero ball. And now, like, he can be a playmaker, but he doesn't have to do too much. And I think he's walked that line fairly well.
Yeah, I mean, he's done a good job of throwing the ball away. Like, when he does that spin out left in college, he would have tried to make something happen. And so maybe it really is that simple. That's very possible. But if you watch him on film, yes, he has many of those moments in college.
Black Suburban says RD needs to go back to Jimmy G mode where they knew they needed shutouts and defensive touchdowns.
That's a fact.
Hard to trick yourself when you know you don't need that, right? Should I be as nervous as I am for Sunday's game, says Martin. I'm nervous and I don't even... they haven't beaten a team this good this year. I know they've done it in the past, but this year, it's this team. This is a new challenge, and they're definitely equipped to overcome the Cowboys, but... Am I the only one that's concerned about the last month? What the fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Here's the thing. As a fan, like, we get nervous. We get built up for these games. I haven't been nervous since the Miami game. That was the last time I had any nerves. Zero nerves every single game, including last week. And this week, I'll be nervous.
That's fair. Zachary Kelway says, I'm kind of shocked. You guys think Trey could be on the roster next year? Kyle Shanahan and Brian Griese know what's up. If you have two quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks.
It comes down to the money. Follow the money, man. And the situation is, if you trade him, you spend more money to do so. And you look stupid because you spent so much to go get him, and you're going to pay to get him off your team. I don't think there's any chance.
So if you have Trey Lance, that means you don't have Brock Purdy. But if you don't have Trey Lance, that means you do have Brock Purdy. Am I following your logic there? I'm sorry, I didn't. What's happening, Maine? Says Dennis McCrae. I don't know, man. What's happening with you? Was heading in. Do you remember that back in like college when all the Atlanta rappers used? I love that. That was hilarious. Was heading in. I don't know. Not that much is heading in right now. Grant, why you got to be so rude? I'm human too. I love you, man. Sorry. You're my guy.
I think he wants you to sing the song Why You Got to Be So Rude.
Grant, you got to visit Florida. It's the best state. I've been to Florida. I haven't been to Tampa yet. I'd like to go to Tampa. I was in Miami for the Super Bowl. It was great. Had a great time.
Tampa's very, it's very different. If you've been to Orlando or you've been to Miami, you've been to Jacksonville, Tampa is very, very different.
I'll be in Jacksonville next year, though. Yeah.
I will, too, probably.
Well, that'll be fun. Noe GQ says, take my money. Thank you.
Just take it.
Just like that. All right, guys. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go call my wife. Tell her I love her. Thanks for watching. What do you got going on tonight, man? You done?
Call-in show over at Last Second Sports, 10:45 Eastern. So in 9 minutes, we're not done talking. It's your turn to sound off. Call-in show, Last Second Sports. Tap in.
We're done. Abu Marco 23 says, would losing a single game or playing really poorly once in the 6 regular season starts be better for Purdy in this playoff run?
No, I think having all the confidence in the world is better for Purdy.
Yeah. He
Why
still hasn't lost a game.
Yeah, no reason. He doesn't know how to lose yet, and that's a good thing.
Little known fact. Fun fact.
Yeah, he's married.
Go check out Last Second Sports. I'm going to do a call-in show on Friday. So all the, Josh Wyatts of the world, get ready. Get fucking ready. It's your turn.
Get ready.
Get ready, baby. All right,
The married man's taking calls.